Oh, hey guys. Okay, this next experience I had was a UFO, and this is the first time I ever seen this type of craft. Usually I've seen the little tiny sphere probes in the sky falling over my head and stuff, but this is the first time I ever seen the bigger craft, the main craft. And so let's get into this. I googled it, so made little pictures and stuff. You can see. So how can I say that? Anyway, one random day in the early 80s, I'm at work, and I get done work at 9, and it's the summertime, and it's I get done work, go through the security gate, I walk across the parking lot, turn to go down that road that goes to my house to the railroad tracks. Over the railroad tracks is an empty lot, Park Ave, then another empty lot, then a little suburb. It's just, and it's on Google here. So I walking home down the road, just bored, like every day, and I get 3/4 of the way, and I look up, straight in front of me, and I see this huge red object in the sky. Now it wasn't solid, but it was solid. It didn't look like a tin can type structure. It was more like fuzzy around. It was fuzzy. That's how I call it, fuzzy. It looks fuzzy. Like a big ball of cotton. And it was dark reddish brown, and it had like an egg shape, but it was the same on both ends. It was like an egg, but it was the same on both ends. And there was nothing in the middle except dark red. There was no... I was just seeing this, and it was sitting there. My jaw dropped. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then it started moving slowly down the railroad tracks. And it was, to me, in my mind, it was sitting over the railroad tracks, above the trees. And I'm looking at it, and it started slowly moving. I'm like, that's a UFO, right? I couldn't believe how big it was. This thing was huge. So as it's going down the railroad tracks, I'm running, looking at it, going down the railroad tracks. I get up on the railroad tracks, and it goes behind a big tree down there. Now everything's changed on Google here, so it's nothing, but it goes behind a big willow tree or something. And I'm looking at it, or I thought it went behind a willow tree, but it's gone. It's just gone. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I'm standing around the railroad tracks, and where I'm standing, you can look out over basically a good view. And there's the empty lot, the street, another empty lot, and the suburb. So I'm looking, it's gone. I'm like, oh, for Christ's sakes. I just got jacked up and it's gone already. So I look over, scan the sky, look over, and I see above the suburb, it's there now. It was only a second, and I saw nothing move from here to there. And so I look at the craft over the suburb, and I look at the craft over the suburb, and it's rotating like this. Here's a rock with a hole in it. So this is what this is. But imagine it's like this, and it's rotating like this over the houses. Now I'm doing it extreme. Okay? And when it rotates up at me like this, I can see it's a disc shape. Okay? And it's rotating like this, and it's slowly heading east. slowly. I mean, real slow. Every time it would go around like that, and every time it came around once, it would move, then it would stop, rotate once, and move, rotate once, and move. And this is what it was doing over the suburb. And I thought that was pretty crazy how this thing moved, because it was rotating, and every time it rotated, it moved over once, and then it rotated and moved over once. And this thing was big, and it was red and fuzzy. I'm looking at it, and there's a car going right down Wedgwood towards it, and I don't think he's seen it. There was nothing going on. So I'm looking at it. My heart is like, oh my God, finally something cool. And this thing was in my face, and this thing was here because there was no one else seeing it. It was 9:30, and no one else was seeing it except me, and it was there for me. It was the road, 2-lane road, dirt road, goes right down to the end. This thing is sitting at the end of the road, right for me to see. It was there for me, period. I wasn't looking at something else going on like random. This thing was here for me. I own that. I'm watching this, and I gotta go get a witness before it's gone. So I watch it for 30 seconds or so, do a few rotations, slowly moving east over the suburb. As that's happening, I run down the railroad tracks, run through the backyard of the back area, get in my backyard, run, scream at my mom, my brother, and my sister, come out, look at the UFO. We get out there, and it should be there, because I wasn't. Everybody got up and ran, because they knew, because I'd done this 100 times. Like, not 100, but you know what I mean, many, many, many times. And I said to my family, the next time I come in and you hear me scream UFO, get your asses out here. And I made them. So I scream, they all come running out. We go down to the end of the driveway, and there's nothing. It's gone. I was like, I just saw that craft. It represented that's all you can say. It represented everything you wanted to know and confirmed everything you wanted to know. And I'm not feeling anything, just excitement to see this object in the sky. But over the next few days, that night, I was pissed off because it was gone. Right? So after everyone went to bed, I went up on the roof with the dog, and I sat there all night. I laid there, fell asleep and everything on the roof. Got my pillow, put it up there, right on top, laid down, started looking for the UFO, hoping it would come back, and I could see it again. Never did. That pissed me off. The next night, I did that. So then I started randomly going up on the roof. But, I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And I thought, okay, I'm going down the street. This lonely street no one's on. And at the end of the railroad, right on the railroad tracks, right on the trail, at the end of the road, this damn UFO. And it's huge. And I'm wondering why it's fuzzy red, right? Why is this thing fuzzy red, not solid? And why is it like dark reddish brown? And I kept going over in my mind how it moved like this over the suburb. And how big it was. It was big. It was like a house, a yard, and a tree. Bigger than a house, a medium-sized house, a yard, and a tree. In all the suburb neighborhoods, you get them houses, they all look the same. It was huge. I don't know, that's how I compared the size of it to the houses, and you can see on the, so, I don't know. That was the best UFO sighting I ever had, and this thing was huge, and it was there, and it was meant for me. And I'm putting two and two real quick together of my contacts were the guys in my face to these UFOs. And I've only seen the little ones. The little spheres sitting over the house or sitting in the sky in the clouds over top of me. I never thought, they never had an impact like this goddamn thing. This changed my life. This thing changed my life. And it wasn't no swamp guy. Goddamn sure. And the one thing caught my mind was, I thought there was two. When I was looking at it, I thought there was two, because one went down the railroad tracks. I'm looking at it, and I looked away for a minute, I looked back, and it's gone. I looked away, because I'm on the railroad tracks. Okay, so I'm tripping over rails, I'm tripping on gravel, on weeds, coming up on the railroad tracks, there's weeds. So I'm looking at all this, and at some point, I'm looking at it, and I had to get my footing, I looked back, and it's gone. Right? A couple seconds, and I go, oh, shit, and I'm looking, and I look over here, and there it is. And that was damn near over a mile or more. In a second, it went from here to over the suburb. It must have been 2 miles, or 2 kilometers, maybe more. And within a second of me looking away, it was gone. How do they know that? How did that happen? How do they know to disappear as soon as I look away? Right? That's question number one. Question number two is, I look, for a second, I'm looking at the sky, and it's over here. So how did it get from point A to point B, this big, huge red craft, without me seeing it, because I got clear sky. I got clear sky from here to there. And ain't nothing passed. Nothing went from here, where I last saw it, to here within a second. Nothing normal we know. And this thing traveled 2 or 3 kilometers, because it went down the tracks about a kilometer, or almost a kilometer or more. And this suburb has got to be like 2 kilometers away. It's a good walk. And it went from point A to point B, and it could have been further out. I don't know. I think it was over the suburb. Anyway, son of a bitch. Awesome stuff. How did that happen? And why is it fuzzy? Why isn't it structured? Like, what does that mean? And why was it turning like this? So I'm thinking, okay, after now, I know that it runs on electromagnetic frequency and then the Earth's gravity field. But how it was rotating like this and moving, every time it would circle around, it would move over one. Circle around, move over, and move over. You know, it was beautiful, it was graceful, it was perfect, it was beautiful. And there was no windows, no nothing. Just a big, giant egg type crap. It looked like an egg straight on. But when it went vertical, like when it went up like this towards me, but when it went like this, it was disc shaped. When it was like this, it looked like an egg. Like an egg shape. It was the same on this side and this side, and it came up. You know, oblong. Take a sphere, pull it, and it looks oblong. That's what it looked like. Turn it on its side, and it was disc, or it was perfectly round. But it was all, had like fuzzy edges. It wasn't, there was no, you couldn't see any definition. There was no 3D definition. It was just fuzzy red on the outside. It was really cool. Yeah. So now I want to bring this up. That blew me away. Well, I'm gonna just hold on. I'm flipping back and forth. So nowadays I film a little white. I've seen these things in my third eye, or not. No, I see these things when I'm looking in the sky. When I'm hooking up to the ETs, and I ask for a sighting of their craft, and I got my camera and I'm out there filming, I see these white, fuzzy, fly by 100 miles an hour. Like, it's just a tracer. Sometimes they stop, sometimes they slow down, and they're fuzzy balls. Okay? They're fuzzy white balls, just like that damn red fuzzy thing. But this thing was like 60, 70 feet. These ones are like basketball size. I saw one of these white things one day in the backyard, and it went right across the backyard. It was about basketball size. White fuzzy sphere floating right across the backyard. Solid, solid, but fuzzy on the edges. Sort of like a stick, electromagnetic static, you know, like bzzz, that type of fuzzy. I don't know. So anyway, I seen that in the backyard. I'm seeing them over my head going by so fast you can't believe it. They're all white and fuzzy. This big giant red craft was red and fuzzy. So I'm just putting two together. I'm thinking, okay, well, whoever's riding around in this ET red craft with the fuzzy red craft is controlling these white fuzzy balls. I mean, and then also on many occasions, and I've photographed them. I never got video of them, but I photographed these objects in the sky. They're white. They're huge, and it looks like a jet, but it's fuzzy. Milky white. So whenever I see when I'm out looking for UFOs and I see a milky white craft, I'll photograph it, and more times than not, it's an ET craft, but it's fuzzy and it's broken. One time in Chatham, I'm filming a UFO and I'm looking, and a sphere probe goes over. Then I look out on the horizon and there's a jet flying along the horizon, and it's totally milky white and fuzzy, and I'm like, well, what the hell's that? And I just randomly started got pictures of it, and I couldn't see it in the LCD panel. When I got home, the jet is broken into two, and it sort of looks like a jet, but it's morphing. And then as I'm taking pictures at other craft exactly the same, they shapeshift. So I have never seen this, but I think you take all these fuzzy white balls and you stick them together. They form and they morph into a bigger object, a random object. Now I think these things are sphere probes, these little ones, because they race around and do things, unless you got an ET in it that's the size of a lighter, which I don't think the case, because the simple fact is all these the big UFO, and I got more coming, where I experienced this, you can feel the occupants. Because the ET that was in my face, all the time, I feel him. I know exactly what he feels like intimately. I know his shit from his heart. His heart and my heart were one. So that's how I'm getting these UFO photos. It don't always work out. A lot of things go on. He's staring at you and there's nothing in the sky, and he's staring at you. One day, there's a ship there. You look up and there's a ship there. You feel something staring at you. You stop, you look, and there's a UFO. Okay? Another time, you stop, you feel something, you look up at the sky, and there's nothing there. What does that mean? And this happened to me 100 times, and I got to get to it. This is in the 90s. They're training me. And so I can feel where he is in the sky, in the cloaked craft. And that's what the training was about. But I'm seeing these little white sphere probes, and I don't feel nothing from them. It's like a battery going through the sky. It's just a piece of junk. It's just an inanimate thing. It's not a life form. It's not nothing. There's no consciousness on it. It's just like a drone. But the big craft, the big red one, there's 4 guys in there staring at me. I can feel them. Sometimes I see the craft, sometimes I don't. And that is training. They're saying, Rich, we're here in this craft. You're seeing these things. So when you don't see the big craft, we have to cloak the goddamn craft, or we're going to get shot out of the fucking sky. So you don't. This is what you get. This is what you're learning. So if you feel the craft, you feel us. This is where we are, over here to the right, in that point of the sky. You're seeing this above your head. It's just a drone. We're over here, cloaked, because we don't want to get killed by your... You understand? So that's what's going on. This is what I learned in my life, and this is in the 90s, and they fucking ripped me, drove me insane with this thing. And it took me a long time to get it. You have no one to talk to. Nobody goes, yeah, well, they're cloaked in the sky and they're in this craft and they're showing you this one. Okay? No one tells you that. You got to figure this out on your own. Nobody. You listen to the great UFO gods on Coast to Coast AM? Fuck. Really? Really? Nobody fucking talks this shit like I'm talking. This is fucking right in. Nobody helped me out on Coast AM. Oh yeah, they make you think a little bit, but they don't tell you the truth. They don't tell you what's going on. It's the same old crap. The last 20, since Art Bell came on the air, you can have the same lineup of goddamn people. They slowly drop dead, but it's always the same lineup. And a new one comes on. It's the same goddamn people. You know what I'd like to see on Coast to Coast AM? Get a fucking street person. Nobody knows. Who lives on the fucking street. Joe Schmo. Nobody. Who has all these experiences and can explain everything. Because you know how many Jesuses are walking around living on the streets? Who have experiences that these Linda Moulton Howes and Richard Hoaglands and Michio Kaku's, all these UFO guys think they're so smart and they're data heads. You know, they can talk a great talk, but they don't know shit. Granted, I love the contactees and abductees, but even that, you know, you're not getting no details. You're not getting details. You're just getting the same story over and over and over and over and over. And that's as far as they go. They never get into the meat of the things. And I see people who've never been on a radio show who are telling me things you don't hear on a radio show. So you know the radio show's all scripted and they got their little plant, everybody. So what they do is they take all these people. See, I'm getting off track. They get all these people. So whoever brings in the most audience, they put on over and over and over and over. It's like a record player at a radio station. You get the radio station plays a certain amount of records, all the new hits. You know, say you got 50 hits. 49 of them suck. You never want to hear them again. You want to shoot yourself in the head by listening to it. But the one hit you like, so you gotta listen to it. Some damn thing like that. So I don't know. That's what it seemed like to me. And I'm right on. I know I am. I don't care. You know, bring someone new on with some damn real experiences. Oh, it drives me nuts. So, what I'm trying to say is, I lost track of everything. Anyway, okay. So back to the UFO. This is what they were training me to do, right? So, the fuzzy craft. These are 3 things I've experienced with this race of ETs, and I know other people are being contacted by these races because I have experiences where I actually been watching the job they were doing to other people. So that's in the 90s. I still ain't got there yet. But what I'm trying to say is, yeah, I just went off topic a little bit there. Got lost track. But the experience blew me away. It was awesome. Simply awesome. So I'm gonna cut this. I love talking and I just have no one to talk to. I can talk about this all day and compare experiences and stuff. But who do you talk to, right? Especially back when you're a little kid and you even bring this up and you're in the principal's office getting ripped by a psychologist. So you learn real quick. Fucking bring up. If it doesn't have to do with killing and war and praising the government, you don't talk about it. Alright, later guys.